Good Lord, I muttered, adjusting my sunglasses. Brittany. Of all the days for her to pop by unannounced, I was finally enjoying a quiet afternoon on the porch with my Earl Grey, the good stuff from Harrods, and Jerry next door had finally stopped terrorizing the neighborhood with his infernal pressure washer. Or so I thought. The drone started up again, a high-pitched whine that vibrated right through my teeth. Honestly, that man in his driveway, you'd think he was preparing it for the second coming. Brittany bounced up the porch steps, all bright eyes and fake enthusiasm. "Grandma Helen, surprise!" she chirped, air kissing me somewhere near my left cheek. I swear, the girl had enough energy to power downtown Atlanta. And that perfume, something sickly sweet that clashed horribly with the delicate bergamot of my tea. "Brittany, sweetie," I said, carefully placing my cup on the wicker table, "to what do I owe the pleasure? I thought you were busy with, what was it this week? Goat yoga? Aura cleansing?" She giggled, a high-pitched sound that made my arthritis ache. "Oh, Grandma, you're so funny. I'm actually here about something really exciting, something I think you'll be really interested in." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh? And what might that be, dear?" I already had a bad feeling about this. Brittany had a way of seeing dollar signs where others saw, well, me. She practically vibrated with excitement. "I'm starting a business, a real, legitimate business, and I need your help." Here we go. "A business, you say?" I sipped my tea, stalling for time. Maybe if I looked busy enough, she'd just go away. "What kind of business, honey? Another one of these influencer schemes you kids are always getting into?" Her face fell slightly. "No, Grandma, this is different. This is meaningful. It's organic baby food. I'm calling it Mama Earth's Munchies. All locally sourced, sustainable ingredients, no preservatives, no artificial flavors, just pure, wholesome goodness for babies." I nearly choked on my tea. Organic baby food, of course, because what the world really needed was another overpriced product for yuppies who think kale smoothies are a personality trait. "That's ambitious, Brittany," I said, trying to keep the sarcasm out of my voice. "And how exactly do you think I can help?" She beamed again, her eyes sparkling with that predatory gleam I'd come to recognize. "Well, I need funding, Grandma, seed money, to get the business off the ground. You know, for ingredients, packaging, marketing, it all adds up." "I'm sure it does," I said dryly. "And you thought of me because you're Grandma Helen, and you always have the best advice. And, well, you have that beautiful antique jewelry collection, the one you inherited from great-grandma Eleanor." My blood turned to ice. She wanted me to sell my jewelry? The pieces that had been in my family for generations? The pieces that held memories of weddings, births, and Christmases past? The nerve! "Are you suggesting," I said, my voice dangerously low, "that I liquidate my family heirlooms to finance your Mama Earth's Munchies?" She shifted uncomfortably. "Well, I wouldn't put it that way, Grandma. I just thought, it's jewelry. It's just sitting in a safe. It's not doing anyone any good. And this is for babies. Think of the babies, Grandma." "I am thinking of the babies, Brittany, and I'm also thinking of my own security, my own future. I'm on a fixed income, sweetie. Social Security doesn't exactly stretch these days. And those family heirlooms, as you so dismissively call them, are part of my nest egg." She waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, Grandma, you're so dramatic. You're not going to starve. And think of the return on investment. Once Mama Earth's Munchies takes off, you'll be rolling in dough." "Return on investment?" I repeated, my voice dripping with venom. "Honey, I've been investing since before you were born. And I've learned a thing or two about snake oil salesmen and women. This This is just another get-rich-quick scheme dressed up in organic cotton." The pressure washer next door roared to life again, the noise almost deafening. It was a perfect soundtrack to the storm brewing inside me. "Brittany," I said, standing up and towering over her, "let me make myself perfectly clear. That jewelry is not for sale. It is staying right where it is. And you, young lady, are going to have to find another way to fund your munchies. Maybe try getting a job. Remember those?" Her face flushed crimson. "But Grandma—" "Out," I said, pointing to the porch steps. "Now, before I say something I regret, and take that god-awful perfume with you." She flounced off the porch, muttering something about me being old-fashioned and out of touch. I watched her go, my hands trembling with rage. Damn it all. Can I protect my assets and my sanity from this little gold digger?
"Lord, give me strength," I muttered under my breath as she gathered her glossy brochures, all pictures of smiling babies covered in pureed squash. "My Earth's munchies," she chirped again, holding one up. "All organic, Grandma. No preservatives, no artificial anything, just goodness." I snorted. Goodness, and a hefty price tag, I'm sure. I watched her flip through the pages, stopping to point to a particularly hideous antique brooch I inherited from my great-aunt Mildred. It was all gaudy emeralds and fake pearls, the kind of thing that looked impressive from across the room, but cheap as dirt up close. "This is beautiful, Grandma," she said, her fingers tracing the outline. "This would be perfect for, collateral, something to show investors we're serious." Collateral. That's what she called it. Not a family heirloom, not a piece of my history, collateral. My blood pressure spiked just thinking about it. The pressure washer next door was still going strong, a constant, irritating drone that seemed to amplify the buzzing in my head. Jerry and his never-ending home improvement projects. Honestly, you'd think he was trying to build the Taj Mahal over there. I'd swear it's been running all day. "Brittany," I began, trying to keep my voice level, "that brooch and everything else I own is staying right where it is. I worked hard for what I have, and what I inherited is not going to fund some fantasy." She rolled her eyes, a habit I always wanted to slap her hand. "Grandma, you're not understanding the potential here. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar industry. Think of the impact we could have. Think of the babies." I am thinking of the babies, and I'm thinking about the fact that babies have been eating perfectly healthy food for centuries without needing some fancy, overpriced organic puree. Back in my day, we mashed up a banana and called it a day. And guess what? We survived. She sighed dramatically, leaning back in her chair. "It's different now, Grandma. People care about what they put into their bodies. They want the best for their children. And you could be a part of that. You could be helping to shape the future. The only future I'm worried about shaping is my own. And that future involves not being broke because I funded your pipe dream." She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "But Grandma, you're not getting any younger. You need to start thinking about your legacy. Do you really want to just leave all this to some distant relatives who won't even appreciate it? Wouldn't you rather see it go towards something meaningful?" Meaningful? She had the nerve to say that to me after all I've done for this family? Are you suggesting I'm losing my marbles, Brittany? Is that what this is? You think I'm some senile old woman who can't manage her own affairs? Her eyes widened, but I didn't believe her innocent act for a second. "No, Grandma, of course not. It's just, sometimes I worry about you. You forget things, you repeat yourself. I just want to make sure you're taken care of." Taken care of? I practically spat the words. "I've been taking care of myself since I was 18 years old, thank you very much. And I don't need some entitled little social media butterfly telling me how to manage my checkbook. I use Quicken, and I reconcile my accounts every month with Wells Fargo. I know exactly where my money is going." I stood up again, my arthritis screaming in protest, but I ignored it. I needed to be tall, I needed to be imposing. I needed to make it clear that I was not to be truffled with. "Brittany," I said, my voice trembling with rage, "you need to leave now. I am not selling my jewelry. I am not investing in your whatever this is. And I am certainly not going to let you sit here and insult my intelligence." She huffed, grabbing her designer handbag, probably cost more than my entire living room set. "Fine, Grandma, but don't say I didn't warn you. You're going to regret this. You're going to be sitting here alone one day, wondering what could have been." "Get out," I repeated, pointing towards the door, "and take your guilt trips with you." She stomped off the porch, slamming the screen door behind her. I watched her march down the sidewalk, her perfectly coiffed hair bouncing with each step. That awful floral perfume she wore lingered in the air, a cloying reminder of her visit. I sank back into my chair, my heart pounding. Damn it all. The pressure washer next door was still going strong, a constant, irritating drone that seemed to amplify the buzzing in my head. Jerry and his never-ending home improvement projects. Honestly, you'd think he was trying to build the Taj Mahal over there. I'd swear it's been running all day. She was being so focused on that brooch, the emerald one. Why that one in particular? It wasn't the most valuable. The diamond earrings or even the Art Deco bracelet would have fetched far more. Is Brittany manipulating me?
"Well, fiddlesticks," I muttered, still stewing. That girl. Honestly, I needed to get out of the house. The memory of her entitled little face wrinkling up in distaste at my perfectly good floral sofa was making my blood pressure spike. Earl Grey tea wasn't going to cut it this time. I needed to see some hard numbers, reality, something solid. So I grabbed my purse, the sensible, sturdy one, not the fancy evening bag I hadn't touched since George passed, and headed out. My trusty Buick LeSabre, bless its heart, still ran like a dream, even if the upholstery smelled faintly of mothballs and Werther's Originals. First Atlanta Bank wasn't exactly around the corner, but it was my bank. Had been since I was a young woman, fresh out of business school and ready to take on the world, one spreadsheet at a time. Back then, you knew your teller by name, and they knew yours. Nowadays, it's all automated tellers and security cameras, which is why I prefer to actually go inside. Besides, I needed some fresh air. The bank was blessedly cool, a welcome reprieve from the Atlanta heat. I always feel like I'm walking into an icebox in July. I took a number, B27, and settled onto one of the uncomfortable vinyl chairs, flipping through a dog-eared copy of Southern Living. Honestly, half the recipes in there called for ingredients I'd never even heard of. Finally, B27 flashed on the screen. I gathered my purse and shuffled over to teller window number 3. A young woman with bright red lipstick and even brighter eyes smiled at me. "Good morning, Mrs. Parker," she said, her voice a little too cheerful for 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. "How can I help you today?" "Just Helen, sweetie. I'd like to check my account balances and access my safety deposit box, please." I handed her my driver's license and debit card. She tapped away at her computer, her long artificial nails clicking against the keys. Lord, those things looked like they'd be murdered to type with. Back in my day, a woman knew how to be professional. "All right, Helen," she chirped. "Everything seems to be in order here. Just a moment while I get the paperwork for the safety deposit box." While she was gone, I glanced around the bank. A couple of young mothers wrangling toddlers, and older gentlemen struggling with a deposit slip. The usual. Nothing out of the ordinary, except... Wait a minute. Was that the same man who always sat in the corner, pretending to read a newspaper? He'd been there for years, ever since George had opened the account. I always suspected he was security, or maybe just a lonely old soul looking for some air conditioning. He was still there. The teller returned with a form and a pen. I signed my name with a flourish, the way I always did. Old habits die hard. "Everything looks great, Helen. Your accounts are all in good shape and the box is available for access." I felt a small measure of relief wash over me. At least something in my life was still predictable. We walked back to the vault together, the teller chattering about the weather. I made polite noises, but my mind was elsewhere. The brooch. Why the emerald brooch? The safety deposit box was small, but it held some of my most treasured possessions. George's watch, his dog tags from the war, a few family photos, and of course, my jewelry. I took inventory. The diamond earrings, the Art Deco bracelet, a pearl necklace George had given me on our 25th anniversary, and the emerald brooch. Everything was exactly where it should be. Nothing missing, nothing disturbed. I closed the box, feeling a bit calmer. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe Brittany was just misguided. As we walked back to the teller window, the young woman paused. She hesitated, then said, "Actually, Helen, there was one other thing." My heart skipped a beat. "What is it, dear?" "Well," she said, lowering her voice, "earlier this morning, a woman called, said she was your granddaughter, Brittany. She was helping you manage your finances, that you were having some trouble keeping track of things. She wanted to confirm some information about your account balances and, well, she asked about your safety deposit box." I gripped the counter, my knuckles turning white. "And what did you tell her?" "I couldn't give her any information, of course. Bank policy. I told her she'd need your permission or a power of attorney. She seemed annoyed, said she'd call back with the necessary paperwork." The teller looked at me with concern. "Is everything all right, Helen? You look a little pale." "Everything is just fine, sweetie," I said, my voice wavering slightly. "Thank you for telling me. You did the right thing." I forced a smile, gathered my things, and walked out of the bank. The Atlanta heat suddenly felt oppressive, suffocating. My Buick LeSabre seemed miles away. Brittany had called the bank. She'd tried to get information about my accounts, about my safety deposit box. She was already laying the groundwork, trying to manipulate her way into my finances. Damn that girl. I sank into the driver's seat, my hands shaking. I needed to think. I needed a plan. What is Brittany planning?
Damn that girl. Back in my day, you respected your elders. Now, it's all about what they can get from you. I drove straight home, brewed myself a strong cup of Earl Grey, Twinings naturally, none of that generic stuff, and sat on the porch swing trying to calm my racing heart. The rhythmic creak of the swing was usually soothing, but today it felt like a countdown. An hour hadn't even passed when my cell phone rang. Caller ID? Brittany. I took a deep breath. "Hello?" I said, trying to sound as frail and confused as possible. "Grandma, hi, it's Brittany. How are you feeling?" Her voice was all sweetness and light, like saccharin and weak tea. "Oh, you know, dear," I sighed. "A little forgetful. The doctor says it's just my age. Play the part, Helen, play the part." "Oh, Grandma, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's exactly why I called. I've been doing some research on the best organic baby food options for little Aiden. It's so important to give him a healthy start, you know? And these companies, they're so innovative, but they need funding." I almost choked on my tea. "Funding, you say?" "Yes, and I was thinking, you always had such beautiful jewelry, Grandma. Those antique pieces your mother left you. They're probably worth a fortune. Maybe you could sell them. It would be such a wonderful investment in Aiden's future. And, well, in our future, too." The nerve of this girl. My jewelry? Those were family heirlooms passed down through generations. Each piece held a memory, a story. They weren't some quick cash grab for her latest scheme. "Brittany, honey," I said, my voice dripping with false sweetness, "those pieces are very special to me. I'm not sure I'm ready to part with them." But Grandma, it's for Aiden, and it's an investment. Think of the returns. This company, Sproutmings or Little Sprouts, something like that, are going to be huge. She carried on a bit about how toxic regular baby food was, and that this was a socially conscious investment. Well, I said slowly, pretending to consider it. Tell you what, dear, send me some information about this Sproutlings company. I'll take a look at it, and maybe, just maybe, we can talk about it. That seemed to satisfy her for the moment. Oh, Grandma, you're the best! I'll send you everything right away. I love you! Love you too, sweetie, I said, hanging up. Bullshit. 2 days later, a sleek black SUV pulled up to my house. Brittany practically bounced out, followed by a young man in a suit who looked like he hadn't slept in days. He clutched a briefcase like a life raft. Grandma, I brought the lawyer, Brittany announced, her voice brimming with excitement. This is Mr. Abernathy. He's going to explain all the legal stuff. Mr. Abernathy offered a weak smile, avoiding eye contact. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. I ushered them inside. Brittany launched into her sales pitch again, showing me glossy brochures filled with pictures of smiling babies and organic vegetables. Mr. Abernathy stood silently in the corner, his gaze fixed on the floral wallpaper. So, Brittany said, beaming, Mr. Abernathy has prepared a contract. It's all very straightforward. It basically says that you're donating the proceeds from the sale of your jewelry to Sproutlings, Inc. in exchange for, well, for the satisfaction of knowing you're helping your great-grandson and contributing to a better world. I took the contract. It was several pages long, filled with dense legal jargon. As I scanned it, I noticed several things that made my arthritis-ridden fingers clench. First, there was no mention of Sproutlings' financial projections or any guarantee of returns. It was simply a donation, with no strings attached. Second, the language was incredibly vague, almost rushed. It seemed like a boilerplate document, hastily adapted for this specific situation. And third, Mr. Abernathy hadn't even bothered to look me in the eye once. Snake oil salesman, the both of them. Mr. Abernathy, I said, my voice suddenly sharp, did you draft this contract yourself? He flinched. Well, yes, ma'am, with the help of senior partners at the firm, of course. Of course, I repeated, my eyes narrowing. And did you advise my granddaughter on the potential risks involved in this donation? He stammered. Well, I explained the terms of the contract, ma'am. The terms, I said, emphasizing the word. But did you explain that she could lose all her money? That this investment is highly speculative? Did you advise her to seek independent financial advice? He looked pleadingly at Brittany, who glared back at him. Grandma, Brittany interrupted, her voice strained. Mr. Abernathy is a very reputable lawyer. He knows what he's doing. Does he, honey? I asked, my gaze fixed on Mr. Abernathy. Does he really? I could see the sweat beading on his forehead. He knew he was in over his head. I handed the contract back to Brittany. I'm not signing this, I said flatly. Brittany's face crumpled. But Grandma, why not? It's for Aiden. It's also for your pocketbook, isn't it, dear? And I'm not about to let you raid my assets to fund your harebrained scheme. Now, I think it's time for you and Mr. Abernathy to leave. I have a pot of Earl Grey waiting, and I'd rather enjoy it in peace, thanks. As they scurried out defeated, I realized I needed more than just a good cup of tea. I needed proof. Proof that Brittany was not only manipulating me, but potentially doing something illegal. She'd asked about my safety deposit box. What was in there? I had to find out what she was really up to, and I had a feeling it wasn't just about organic baby food. Could I find evidence of her deception before she drained my bank account?
Oh, fiddlesticks, I said, trying to sound flustered, like a confused old woman finally buckling under pressure. I just don't understand all this legal mumbo-jumbo. It's all so fast. My head is spinning. I fluttered my hands a bit, adding a shaky laugh for good measure. Tell you what, sweetie, I said to Brittany, batting my eyelashes, why don't you leave the contract with me? I'll look it over tonight. Maybe have Mildred next door take a peek? She's surprisingly savvy with this sort of thing. You know, for a retired librarian. Mildred, bless her heart, probably thinks a Roth IRA is a fancy kind of tea, but Brittany didn't need to know that. I just need time to process it all, dear. All this investment talk. Back in my day, investment meant putting money in a savings account and praying it earned enough to buy a decent hat. Mr. Abernathy, the young buck, shifted his weight. He probably thought he had me right where he wanted me. Of course, Mrs. Parker, take all the time you need. We want you to feel comfortable with the decision. He even gave me a patronizing smile. I wanted to smack him with my purse. Brittany, however, looked a little suspicious. Are you sure, Grandma? It's a really great opportunity. Oh, I'm sure, honey, I said, my voice dripping with false sweetness. Great opportunities come and go. A good night's sleep is forever. Besides, I need to make sure I can still afford my medication. You know how pricey those pills for my arthritis are these days. I sighed dramatically, rubbing my knuckles. And Social Security barely covers it, you know? It's a struggle, sweetie. A real struggle on a fixed income. Brittany's eyes flickered, probably calculating how much longer I'd be around to be a burden. Okay, Grandma, we'll leave it with you. But please read it over carefully, and don't forget about Aiden. Aiden will be fine, dear, I said, trying to reassure her, and myself. He's got a roof over his head and food on the table. For now, at least. He won't starve if his mama doesn't start an organic baby food empire. Now, run along, both of you. Grandma needs a nap. As soon as the door clicked shut behind them, I dropped the act. The sweet, confused old lady vanished, replaced by Helen Parker, ex-accountant, ready for battle. First things first, I needed to make sure those two didn't come back unexpectedly. I went to the front door and, after checking the peephole, slid the deadbolt firmly into place. Then I went to the living room and took a deep breath. It was time to put my plan into action. I remembered that old radio I had tucked away in the attic, the one that looked antique but was actually a modern replica, the kind you buy at those import stores down by the old candy factory. I'd bought it years ago on a whim, thinking it would look nice on the bookshelf. Now, it was gonna be my secret weapon. I rummaged through the attic until I found it, still in its original packaging. It was a little dusty, but otherwise in perfect condition. I carefully unwrapped it and examined the back. Perfect. Just enough space to hide a small voice recorder. I'd purchased a small digital voice recorder online just last week. It was voice-activated and had a decent battery life. I carefully inserted it into the back of the radio, making sure it was securely in place. Then I positioned the radio on the bookshelf in the living room, facing the sofa where Brittany and I had been sitting. It looked completely innocuous, like just another piece of old junk. Now for the hard part, waiting. I knew Brittany would be back, and I needed to be ready. I poured myself that cup of Earl Grey, laced it with a generous splash of brandy, don't tell anyone, and settled into my armchair. I needed to project an image of serene naivete. I thumbed through a magazine, pretending to read, but my mind was racing. What was Brittany really after? Was she just trying to get her hands on my money? Or was there something more sinister going on? What about my safety deposit box? That's when I remembered the accident Brittany had mentioned a few weeks ago. She'd said someone had sidewiped her car in the parking lot at the grocery store. Minor damage, she had claimed, but enough to require a trip to the body shop. At the time, I hadn't thought much of it. Now I wondered if it was just another lie. My phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. "We know about the jewelry. Be careful, Helen." My blood ran cold. How did they know? I jumped up, nearly spilling my tea. I had to find out who sent that text and what they knew. But more importantly, would the hidden recorder reveal Brittany's true intentions?
Well, shit. That text message rattled me. It truly did. But I knew I couldn't let Brittany see me sweat. If she suspected anything, my little plan would be toast. So I took a deep breath, smoothed down my dress, and decided to play the forgetful old lady card for all it was worth. The next time Brittany came over, I made sure to ramp up the act. I started small, misplacing my reading glasses. Oh dear, where did I put them? I swear, my memory's just not what it used to be, sweetie. I'd flutter my hands and give her a weak, apologetic smile. Then I moved on to bigger things. I accidentally dropped a stack of magazines, feigning clumsiness. Oh bother, these old bones just don't move the way they used to. I even called her Barbara a couple of times instead of Brittany. You should have seen the look on her face, honey. It was a mixture of pity and something else. Triumph, maybe? Like she was thinking, bingo, the old bat's losing it. It was almost sickening to play this game, but I knew it was necessary. I had to lull her into a false sense of security, make her think she was dealing with a doddering old woman who was easily manipulated. And honestly, it wasn't that hard. People do tend to underestimate older women, especially when they think we're losing our faculties. It's a damn shame, really. A few days later, Brittany brought her lawyer, a slick young buck named Mr. Henderson, for another friendly visit. He was all smiles and handshakes, the kind of guy who probably irons his socks. I offered them both tea, Earl Grey, of course. I even managed to spill a little on Mr. Henderson's impeccably pressed trousers. Oh, I am so sorry. My hands are just terribly shaky these days. I dabbed at the stain with a napkin, all the while watching their reactions. Brittany just rolled her eyes, but Mr. Henderson, bless his heart, was a good sport about it. As they sat down in the living room, I made sure to position myself so that I was within earshot of the radio, but not directly in front of it. I wanted to give the impression that I was paying attention, but also that I was easily distracted. Brittany launched into her usual spiel about how much she cared about me, how she just wanted to make sure I was comfortable and secure in my golden years. "You know, Helen," she said, her voice dripping with false concern, "Mr. Henderson and I were discussing some options for managing your assets. We want to make sure you have enough money to cover your expenses and enjoy your life." I nodded vaguely, pretending to be only half listening. "That's nice, dear. As long as I can still afford my tea and my bingo nights, I'm happy." Mr. Henderson cleared his throat. "Well, one option we were considering was liquidating some of your assets, perhaps some of your antique jewelry." "Bingo!" I feigned confusion. "My jewelry? But those are my heirlooms. My grandmother gave them to me." "Of course, Helen," Brittany said soothingly. "We understand their sentimental value, but they're just sitting in a safety deposit box, not doing anything. We could sell them and invest the money in something that would generate income for you. Think of all the organic baby food we could buy." I almost choked on my tea. Organic baby food. That little snake was really pushing it now. Mr. Henderson chimed in. "We could set up a trust, Helen, with Brittany as the trustee. She would manage the funds and ensure that your needs are always met."
I looked from Brittany to Mr. Henderson, pretending to consider their proposal. A trust, you say, and Brittany would be in charge? Yes, Helen, I would take care of everything. I said, tapping my chin thoughtfully. Well, I'll have to think about it. It all sounds so complicated. I'm not sure I can keep up. I gave them my best bewildered old lady look. They exchanged a glance, a silent communication passing between them. I could practically see the dollar signs flashing in their eyes. Meanwhile, Jerry was mowing the lawn. A good old-fashioned push mower would have been bad enough, but that damn leaf blower was making it hard to hear anything on the recording. The constant whirr was incredibly irritating, and I worried it would ruin the whole thing. I made a mental note to give him an earful later, maybe offer him a little something extra to switch to something quieter. Were they really convinced by my act? Had I laid it on too thick? Is my little ruse working?
Well, bless their hearts, I drawled, leaning back in my floral armchair, trying to look as harmless as a kitten. All this talk about trusts and trustees, it's given me a headache, sweetie. Brittany's fake smile widened, revealing too much gum. Oh, Helen, don't worry your pretty little head about it. We'll handle all the details. You just need to say the word. Mr. Henderson, slick as an eel in his expensive suit, added, Precisely, Helen. We want to ensure your golden years are truly golden. Golden years? More like fool's gold if they had their way. Golden years, I repeated, savoring the words. That's a mighty generous offer. I'll sleep on it, okay? You know how us old folks are. Need our beauty rest. They practically tripped over themselves saying good night. I could almost hear the champagne corks popping in their heads as they envisioned my jewelry adorning Brittany's neck and my house being flipped for a tidy profit. As soon as the door clicked shut, I was up and moving faster than you could say Social Security check. I practically sprinted to my study, the arthritis in my knees be damned. I slammed the door shut, cutting off the incessant whirr of Jerry's landscaping cacophony. I really did need to have a word with him. Maybe offer him an extra 20 to use a rake. Back in my day, that's how we did things. I grabbed my iPhone from the desk and plugged in my earbuds. Time to listen to those recordings again. My heart pounded in my chest, a mixture of fear and fury. I fast-forwarded through the initial pleasantries, the fake concern, and the endless talk about my well-being. I wanted the meat of it, the juicy details of their little scheme. The recording crackled. Then I heard Brittany's voice, clear as a bell. She's got some beautiful pieces, Thomas. Vintage Cartier, a diamond brooch from Tiffany's. We're talking serious money here. Thomas, the snake oil salesman, responded, Indeed, Helen. And the house. Zillow estimates put it in the high 6 figures, maybe even 7 with the current market. My grip tightened on my phone. 7 figures? They were already counting my chickens before they hatched, weren't they? The gall of it. The key, Mr. Henderson continued, his voice smooth and oily, is to convince her that a trust is in her best interest, play on her fears of being alone, of running out of money. We can paint a picture of a comfortable assisted living facility, all expenses paid. She won't know the difference. Assisted living. They wanted to stick me in some sterile box surrounded by strangers while they lived it up on my hard-earned money over my dead body. Then the leaf blower noise intensified, drowning out the recording. All I could hear was a muffled, distorted drone. Damn it, I hissed, slamming my fist on the desk. The whir was almost deafening. I strained to hear what they were saying, but it was no use. The critical part of the conversation was lost in Jerry's landscaping cacophony. Finally, the
the noise subsided and I could hear snippets again. Brittany, easier to manage, less stressful for her. Thomas, power of attorney, crucial for the sale. Brittany, the place is a dump anyway, needs updating. My blood boiled. A dump. This house was filled with memories, with love, with life. It was more than just bricks and mortar. It was my home, and they were going to snatch it away from me like a couple of vultures circling their prey. I rewound the recording, trying to piece together the fragments of conversation. I needed to hear it all, every last detail of their treachery. But the leaf blower had ruined the most important parts. I felt a surge of helplessness, a wave of despair washing over me. They were so confident, so sure of themselves. Had I underestimated them? Was I really just an old woman, easily manipulated and discarded? No. I straightened my back, my eyes narrowed. I was Helen Parker, and I wasn't going down without a fight. They might think they had me cornered, but I still had a few tricks up my sleeve. The leaf blower started up again, its relentless whirr a mocking reminder of my predicament. I needed to find a way to silence that noise, to get a clear recording of their plans, and then I'd unleash hell on them. But did the garbled recordings contain enough evidence to take to the police? Would anyone believe me, a confused old woman, against a respected lawyer and a seemingly caring granddaughter? This was far from over, honey. Far from over.
Lord have mercy. The next few days were spent simmering, sweeties. Simmering like a pot about to boil over. I tried to act normal, Made my Earl Grey, did my crossword, even attempted a bit of gardening despite my arthritis acting up. All the while I was plotting, planning. Then Brittany called, all sunshine and sugary sweetness, like nothing was amiss. Grandma, honey, I'm popping over this afternoon with some samples. Remember that organic baby food I was telling you about? I'm thinking of a new flavor, sweet potato and parsnip. You can be my taste tester. Taste tester my foot. More like, let's see how senile Grandma is today. That sounds lovely, Brittany, I purred, doing my best impression of a docile old lady. Come around 3, we'll have tea. 3 o'clock rolled around, and there she was, all bright-eyed and bushy-tails, carrying a basket overflowing with little jars and pouches. The smell of slightly fermented vegetables wafted off of her. Ugh. Grandma, you look wonderful, she gushed, giving me a hug that felt entirely too tight. I brought you so many samples to try. How thoughtful, dear, I said, ushering her into the living room. Let's sit down. I have something I want to play for you. I settled her on the sofa, then casually picked up my iPhone. I'd transferred the recordings onto it. You know, Brittany, I've been having trouble with the leaf blowers lately. Seems like someone is always using one right outside my window. So annoying. I showed her the Weather Channel app, knowing that the pollen count was high. My sinuses are killing me, sweetie. She smiled, oblivious. Oh, that's too bad, Grandma. Noise pollution is terrible for the environment, and those leaf blowers are so bad for allergies. I pressed play. The garbled voices filled the room, the whir of the leaf blower, a persistent drone beneath the snippets of conversation. Easier to manage, less stressful for her. Power of attorney, crucial for the sale. Place is a dump anyway, needs updating. Brittany's smile vanished. Her eyes widened. She looked like a deer caught in headlights. I stopped the recording. The silence was deafening. Brittany, I said, my voice dangerously low. Care to explain? She sputtered, her face turning a blotchy red. Grandma,
I don't know what you're talking about. These recordings, they're doctored, fabricated. I would never say anything like that." "Oh, really, honey?" I asked, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Because it sounds awfully like you and your little lawyer friend Thomas. Funny how technology works these days, isn't it? You can't trust anything, can you?" She stammered. "Grandma, you're confused. Someone is trying to trick you. I would never—" "Enough," I snapped, my voice rising. "Don't insult my intelligence, Brittany. I may be old, but I'm not stupid. I was a goddamn accountant for 40 years. I can add 2 and 2, you know?" I reached into my sewing basket and pulled out a piece of paper. "You remember this, darling? It's a receipt for those organic baby food samples you brought me a few weeks ago. You had me sign it, remember? Said it was just a confirmation that I received them." I held it up, letting her see it clearly. Below the seemingly innocuous receipt was in tiny, painstakingly written print a confession detailing her plans to manipulate me, to seize my assets, to sell my home. The phantom factor of the receipt printer was that the ink cartridge was running low, and the confession was very hard to read unless you knew what you were looking for. She stared at the paper, her mouth agape. The color drained from her face. "I had my suspicions, sweetie, so I did a little digging. Turns out you were so focused on getting me to sign the power of attorney, you weren't paying attention to what else was on that page. It's amazing what you can find on the internet these days, isn't it?" I'd paid a forensic document examiner a small fortune for it. Money well spent. She lunged for the paper, but I was quicker. I snatched it away, holding it out of her reach. "Don't even think about it, Brittany. This is my evidence, and I'm going to the police." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Grandma, please, don't do this. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I have this dream, this business, and I thought you wouldn't mind helping me out, maybe fronting me some cash. It was just a loan." "A loan?" I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "A loan secured by my entire life savings? By my home? You are going to leave me with nothing, Brittany. Nothing but a fixed income and memories of betrayal." I stood up, my hands shaking with rage. "Get out, Brittany. Get out of my house, and don't you ever come back." She hesitated, her eyes pleading, but the look on my face must have told her everything she needed to know. She grabbed her basket of organic baby food, her dreams of artisanal parsnips and sweet potatoes crumbling around her. As she walked out the door, I couldn't help but wonder, had I truly defeated her? Or was this just the beginning of a long and ugly battle?
"Oh, Grandma," she said, a nervous little giggle escaping her lips. "You think you got me, don't you? That little piece of paper? Honey, that's just quaint." She actually giggled. The nerve of the girl. I swear my blood pressure spiked just then. I could feel the arthritis acting up in my left hip, a dull, throbbing reminder of my own mortality. Back in my day, you respected your elders. Now they try to rob you blind. "What are you talking about, Brittany?" I asked, my voice dangerously low. She smirked, a cold, calculating look that sent a chill right through me. "That confession, Grandma, it's worthless. Utterly, completely worthless." I stared at her, trying to decipher her words. What was she playing at? "You think you're so clever, Grandma, with your little forensic document examiner and your internet searches? But you're playing checkers, and I'm playing chess. Explain yourself, young lady." My voice was tight. "Oh, I will. See, while you were busy trying to catch me in this amateur hour sting operation, I was taking care of business. All your assets, Grandma.
your house, your jewelry, all those lovely antique pieces you cherish, and of course your bank accounts at Wells Fargo, every single penny. My stomach dropped. What did you do? She beamed. I transferred it all, everything, into an irrevocable trust, an offshore trust to be exact, perfectly legal, perfectly protected. The Brittany Miller Irrevocable Trust. And guess who the beneficiary is? Me. And guess who the trustee is? My company, registered in the Cayman Islands. You can't touch it, Grandma. No one can. The room started to spin. I gripped the back of a chair to steady myself. You can't do that. That's illegal. She just laughed, a high-pitched, almost hysterical sound. Oh, honey, everything I did was completely above board. I had a lawyer draw up all the paperwork. Remember that nice young man who came over a few weeks ago? The one who kept talking about estate planning and the benefits of trusts? He even brought you those sugar-free cookies from Publix, remember? So thoughtful. I did remember him. A clean-cut young buck with a disarming smile and a briefcase full of lies. I thought he was a bit too eager, but I chalked it up to youthful enthusiasm. Damn it, I'd been played like a fiddle. I looked over at the doorway. The lawyer, that snake oil salesman, was standing there looking pale and uncomfortable. He wouldn't meet my eye, nervously fidgeting with the knot in his tie. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere but in my living room. I saw the guilt written all over his face. You knew about this? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. He swallowed hard. I can't comment on that, Mrs. Parker. Attorney-client privilege, you understand? Privilege my foot. You helped her steal everything I own. My voice rose, cracking with fury. Brittany cut in, her voice dripping with false sympathy. Oh, Grandma, don't get so upset. It's all for the best, really. This way I can ensure your financial security for the rest of your days. I'll make sure you get a generous monthly allowance, enough to cover your Social Security and your Earl Grey tea. I wanted to slap her, I wanted to scream, I wanted to rewind time and never let this viper into my life. You're a monster, Brittany, a selfish, greedy monster, I spat. She shrugged. Maybe, but I'm a monster with a fully funded organic baby food startup. And you, Grandma, you're just old. The audacity. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about betrayal, about disrespect, about the utter disregard for family. My family, I thought. Suddenly, I felt a wave of dizziness. The room swam before my eyes. I reached for the chair again, my legs threatening to buckle beneath me. Get out, I managed to choke out. Both of you, get out of my sight. She smirked, a cold, calculating look that sent a chill right through me. Of course, Grandma, but remember, this isn't your house anymore. It's technically owned by the Brittany Miller Irrevocable Trust. So, I guess, technically, you're the one who has to leave. She turned and walked out, the young lawyer shuffling nervously behind her. As the door slammed shut, I sank into the chair, the reality of what had just happened crashing down on me like a tidal wave. Had I lost everything? Damn it all. There I was, sitting in that sterile courtroom. The air smelled faintly of lemon disinfectant and stale coffee, a potent mix of desperation and bureaucracy, if you ask me. You know the smell, sweeties. It's the smell of your tax dollars at work. Or, in my case, against me. Brittany, that little viper, sat across the room, looking smug as a cat that swallowed the canary. Her fancy young lawyer, probably fresh out of law school and still wet behind the ears, was droning on about irrevocable trusts and fiduciary responsibilities. He was practically glowing with self-importance, that young buck. I swear, he probably practiced his courtroom face in the mirror every morning. My own lawyer, bless his heart, looked like he'd aged 10 years in the last hour. He kept shuffling through the documents, his brow furrowed with worry.
Honestly, he looked about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. The judge, a stern-faced woman with a severe bun and glasses perched on the end of her nose, tapped her pen impatiently. Mr. Peterson, my lawyer, cleared his throat nervously. Your Honor, we believe there may be extenuating circumstances. My client, Mrs. Parker, was under considerable duress at the time of the trust's creation. Brittany's lawyer, let's call him Mr. Smug, jumped in, practically vibrating with indignation. Objection, Your Honor. Mrs. Parker was fully competent and of sound mind. We have notarized documents proving her consent. He held up a thick stack of papers, waving them like a victory flag. Oh, those damn notarized documents. That was the snake oil Brittany and that shady lawyer of hers peddled me. Said it was just a formality, said it was just to make sure my affairs were in order. I should have known better. Back in my day, a handshake meant something. Now it's all about the fine print and loopholes. The judge sighed, a sound that echoed through the silent courtroom. Mr. Peterson, do you have any concrete evidence to refute the validity of these documents? Mr. Peterson looked down at his shoes, then back at me, a flicker of pity in his eyes. He knew we were sunk. Your Honor, he said, his voice barely a whisper, we believe there may be extenuating circumstances. My client, Mrs. Parker, was under considerable duress at the time of the trust's creation. Mr. Smug scoffed. Testimony? That's all you have? A disgruntled grandmother complaining about her generous granddaughter? Please. The judge turned her gaze to me. It felt like she was looking right through me, seeing all my vulnerabilities, all my regrets. I wanted to tell her everything about Brittany's manipulation, about the betrayal, about the sheer, unadulterated greed that had driven her to steal my home, my security, my peace of mind. I wanted to tell her about the antique jewelry Brittany coveted, the jewelry I'd planned to leave to my great-grandchildren, the jewelry I'd painstakingly collected over the years, each piece holding a memory, a story. But the words caught in my throat, choked by a wave of desperation. I looked at Brittany, her face a mask of cold indifference. I looked at Mr. Smug, his eyes gleaming with triumph. I looked at my lawyer, his shoulders slumped in defeat. And I knew that I was beaten. No, Your Honor, I whispered, my voice hoarse. I have nothing more to say. The judge nodded, her expression unreadable. Very well. Based on the evidence presented, I find in favor of the Brittany Miller Irrevocable Trust. Mrs. Parker, you are hereby ordered to vacate the premises within 30 days. 30 days! Just like that, my life, my home, my memories were being ripped away from me. As the gavel banged, signaling the end of the hearing, I felt a sharp pain in my chest. It wasn't a heart attack, not exactly. It was something worse. It was the crushing weight of injustice, the sickening realization that sometimes, even in a court of law, the truth doesn't matter. All that matters is who has the best lawyer, the most convincing lies, and the most ruthless heart. Mr. Peterson helped me to my feet, his hand gentle on my arm. "Am so sorry, Helen," he said, his voice filled with genuine sympathy. "I did my best. I managed a weak smile. I know you did, dear. It wasn't your fault." As we walked out of the courtroom, I saw Brittany smirking at me. She knew she'd won. She knew she'd gotten away with it. We walked past the clerk's office, where I noticed stacks of papers and files relating to other cases. One file in particular caught my eye,
a rather thick one with a manila folder and some handwritten annotations on the side. I couldn't quite make out the details, but I remember thinking it looked important, maybe even connected. But connected to what, I couldn't say. Later that day, back in my now soon-to-be former living room, the reality of my situation hit me with full force. I sat in my favorite armchair, the one my late husband, George, had always loved, and stared out the window at the garden we'd created together. All those roses, all those memories, gone. I sipped my Earl Grey tea, the familiar aroma doing little to soothe my frayed nerves. Was this it? Was this how my story ended? Penniless, homeless, and betrayed by the very person I'd trusted most? Is justice unattainable?
Well, isn't that just peachy? That's what Brittany's lawyer, that smug-faced weasel, actually said. Peachy. As if he hadn't just eviscerated my life in the most bloodless, legal way possible. He leaned back in his chair, all polished shoes and condescending smiles, and dropped the bomb. Even if, he drawled, looking straight at me as if I were some kind of particularly unpleasant bug, even if Mrs. Parker could prove coercion, which we maintain she cannot, the trust is legally sound and irreversible. The terms are quite clear. Mrs. DuPont has full control. Irreversible. The word hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. I felt the fight drain out of me. All the anger, all the hope, all the righteous indignation, gone. It was like a slow leak, letting the air out of a tire, until you're just driving on the rim, scraping along, making sparks, but going nowhere. I slumped back in my chair, the hardwood pressing against my aching back. My arthritis was acting up something fierce today, adding insult to injury. I swear, that young buck probably had a special on elder abuse in his office, probably framed right next to his law degree from some fancy-pants school. Back in my day, lawyers had some semblance of ethics. Now, they were just hired guns, ready to twist the law to suit whoever was paying the most. I looked over at Mr. Peterson. He gave me a sad shake of his head. I'm truly sorry, Helen. There's nothing more I can do. Nothing more he can do? The words echoed in my head. I was adrift. Utterly, completely alone. Brittany had won. She'd gotten everything she wanted. My house, my savings, my peace of mind, everything. And the law, that supposed bastion of justice, was just standing there, shrugging its shoulders and saying, "Tough luck, lady." The courtroom buzzed around me. The clerk was already calling the next case. A domestic dispute, I think. Seemed like everyone was fighting these days. Made me long for the days when a handshake was a deal and people had a modicum of respect. I closed my eyes for a moment, trying to block out the noise, the disappointment, the sheer, overwhelming unfairness of it all. Then something caught my eye. A movement in the gallery. Someone I recognized. Jerry. Jerry DuPont, Brittany's ex-husband. He was sitting in the back row, trying to blend in, looking uncomfortable in a slightly too tight suit. What in the world was he doing here? I hadn't seen him since the wedding, a lavish affair held at that odd god-awful golf club where everything smelled faintly of chlorine and desperation. Jerry never struck me as the spiteful type. He was always quiet, a bit meek, almost like a shadow in Brittany's wake. He worked as an insurance adjuster, handling claims for some big company. Humana, maybe? Or was it Aetna? Something boring like that. He always seemed a bit lost, like he was waiting for life to happen to him, rather than going out and grabbing it by the horns. I remember Brittany complaining about Jerry's stamp collection,
Honestly, Helen, she'd said, rolling her eyes, who collects stamps anymore? It's so quaint, so him. She wanted him to invest in cryptocurrency or NFTs, something trendy, something flashy, something that would impress her friends. Now, seeing him here, in this courtroom, watching his ex-wife systematically dismantle my life, it didn't make any sense. He wasn't even looking at Brittany. He was staring at me. His face was pale, and his eyes held a strange mixture of pity and goody. Could it be possible? Did Jerry know something? Had he seen something? Was he here to help? Nah, couldn't be. I was grasping at straws, desperate for a lifeline in a sea of despair. But even so, my mind started racing. Maybe, just maybe, there was a tiny sliver of hope, a flicker of light in the darkness. But hope for what? What could Jerry possibly do? He was just one man, and Brittany had an army of lawyers and a mountain of money on her side. Still, the fact that he was here, watching, gave me a sliver of strength, enough to lift my head, to straighten my back, to meet Brittany's smug gaze with a flicker of defiance. Brittany saw me looking at her, and her smile widened. She thought she had me beat. She thought she had broken me. Maybe she had. But maybe, just maybe, she was wrong. I stared back at Jerry, trying to read his expression. He gave me the smallest of nods, almost imperceptible. Was it encouragement? Was it apology? Or was it something entirely different? Who can save Helen now?
Damn it all, that little nod. What in the Sam Hill was that about? He couldn't possibly be thinking of helping, could he? Jerry? The man who couldn't even stand up to Brittany when she was rearranging the furniture in his own damn house? Lord, I was losing it. The fluorescent lights in that courtroom were buzzing, making my arthritis ache something fierce. And that lawyer of Brittany's, Mr. Smarmy Pants, was droning on and on about irresponsible spending habits and financial mismanagement. Irresponsible spending? I'd lived frugally my entire life, clipping coupons, saving every damn penny. Back in my day, you didn't just swipe a card and forget about it. You balanced a checkbook, you paid your bills on time, and you respected your elders. But Brittany, that little viper, she'd managed to twist everything around, make me out to be some kind of spendthrift lunatic. And that Jerry, sitting there like a bump on a log, he was just watching. Maybe he was just curious, like rubberneckers at a car crash. Maybe he was just enjoying the spectacle of my life crumbling before my very eyes. The air in the courtroom was thick with the scent of stale coffee and desperation. My hands were clammy and my stomach was churning. I could feel my blood pressure rising, threatening to send me into a full-blown Helen Parker meltdown right there in front of God and everybody. I focused on Jerry again. He was still staring, his brow furrowed. Was that concern? I dismissed it. Probably just indigestion from those awful muffins Brittany used to bake, all organic and gluten-free and tasting like cardboard. I glanced at Brittany. She was practically glowing. Her expensive highlights shimmered under the courtroom lights, and her teeth were blindingly white. She was dressed in some kind of power suit that probably cost more than my entire Social Security check. She looked like she had already won, like she was just waiting for the judge to rubber stamp her victory. And maybe she was right. Maybe I was beaten. Maybe there was no way out of this mess. I thought of my house, my little rose garden, my antique jewelry collection, all of it about to be ripped away from me by that barbarian, all to fund her ridiculous, overpriced, organic baby food empire. Respect your elders, sweetie, I muttered under my breath, the words laced with venom. My gaze drifted back to Jerry. He shifted in his seat, a slight movement. He avoided my eyes this time, looking down at his hands. He
He was wearing that same old Timex watch he'd had for years. I remember when Brittany tried to get him to buy an Apple Watch. "It's so much more convenient, Jerry," she'd cooed. "You can track your steps and get notifications right on your wrist." He just shrugged and said, "This one tells me the time just fine." He was a simple man, Jerry. Always had been. That's why I liked him. And that's why Brittany had despised him. The lawyer was still talking, his voice a monotonous hum in the background. He was droning on about the Parker Trust and its alleged mismanagement. The trust? It was just a piddling amount of money set aside for my retirement, enough to keep me comfortable, to pay my bills, to buy the occasional Earl Grey tea. Now it was all going to be used to pay for Brittany's lawyer fees, no doubt. I wanted to scream. I wanted to stand up and tell them all what she really was. A manipulative, greedy thing, but I couldn't. I was too tired, too defeated. I looked at Jerry one last time. He finally met my gaze, and this time there was something different in his eyes. Something determined, almost angry. He gave me another nod, a slightly bigger one this time, more deliberate, and he mouthed something. I couldn't quite make it out. "What was that, Jerry?" I whispered to myself. He mouthed it again, slowly, deliberately. "I saw..." Saw what? What the hell did he see? Was he talking about Brittany? Had he finally seen her for what she was? My heart skipped a beat. Could it be possible? Could Jerry be the key to all of this? Could he be the one to save me from this nightmare? Nah, couldn't be. I was grasping at straws again, desperate, pathetic. But what if? What if Jerry had seen something? What if he knew something that could help me? The judge cleared his throat, a loud, booming sound that snapped me back to reality. He looked down at me, his expression stern. "Mrs. Parker," he said, his voice echoing through the courtroom. All eyes were on me. Brittany's smug smile, the lawyer's expectant gaze, Jerry's hopeful expression. My mouth was dry. My throat was tight. I wanted to say something, anything to defend myself, but the words wouldn't come. I looked back at Jerry one last time. He gave me a final nod, a firm, unwavering nod, and he mouthed it again. "I saw the emails." Emails? What emails? What did he see in the emails? A spark of hope flickered in my chest, a tiny ember in the darkness, but was it enough to ignite a flame? Could this be it? Could this be the turning point? Is there any chance of victory?
Lord, give me strength. My lawyer, bless his heart, he looked at me like a kicked puppy. All the fight just drained right out of him. He was trying, sweetie. He really was. But Brittany, that little... Well, let's just say she had him tied in knots with her accusations. He just gave me this look, this helpless, "I've done all I can do" look. I closed my eyes. Fine. So be it. I'd lost. I'd fought. I'd clawed. I'd spent my retirement money on legal fees, and for what? To be railroaded by my own flesh and blood? To be seen as some heartless old witch who was denying her grandchild organic kale chips or whatever nonsense she was pushing this week? I could practically smell the smug radiating off Brittany. I could just picture her now, mentally redecorating my house, planning where to put the baby's crib, probably right where my antique writing desk sits, the one my dear departed Henry gave me on our 25th anniversary. And all my jewelry, my precious heirlooms, gone, sold off to some pawn shop to fund her ridiculous pipe dreams. I let out a slow, shaky breath. Arthritis was acting up again, throbbing in my knuckles. Just perfect! Another reminder that I wasn't getting any younger, that my time was running out. And this
this greedy little parasite was going to suck me dry before I even had a chance to enjoy my golden years. "Mrs. Parker," the judge said again, a little sharper this time, "do you have anything further to add before I make my ruling?" I opened my mouth, ready to just surrender. What was the point? What good would it do? I was just an old woman, alone in a courtroom, fighting against a force of nature, against the relentless tide of millennial entitlement. Back in my day, honey, you respected the elders. Now, you just saw them as walking ATMs, ripe for the picking. But then, just as I was about to utter those words of defeat, just as I was about to hand over my life savings and my treasured possessions, something happened. A voice from the back of the courtroom. A voice I hadn't heard since that disastrous Thanksgiving dinner. "Jerry Thompson?" a court officer called out, his voice echoing through the room. "Jerry Thompson, please come forward." My eyes flew open. Jerry? Jerry? What in the loving hell was Jerry doing here? I twisted around in my seat, craning my neck to see. There he was, my sweet, awkward neighbor, shuffling forward, his face pale, his hands clasped nervously in front of him. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else in the world. Brittany's smug look faltered, just for a fraction of a second. Just a tiny flicker of unease, but I saw it. I definitely saw it. My lawyer, still defeated, glanced at me with a confused expression. He clearly had no idea what was going on. Hell, I had no idea what was going on. The judge, looking equally perplexed, peered down from his bench. "Mr. Thompson, are you here in response to a subpoena?" Jerry swallowed hard, his Adam's apple bobbing nervously. "Yes, Your Honor," he mumbled, his voice barely audible. "A subpoena? Why would Jerry be subpoenaed? Who subpoenaed him, and for what?" My mind was racing a mile a minute. Had Brittany called him as a witness? Had she somehow convinced him to lie for her? Had she promised him a lifetime supply of organic baby food if he testified against me? But then I looked at Jerry again, at his nervous demeanor, at the way he kept glancing at Brittany with a mixture of fear and something else. Something I couldn't quite decipher. No, something wasn't right. This wasn't Brittany's doing. This felt different. I felt a surge of adrenaline, a jolt of energy that I hadn't felt in years. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't over yet. Maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance. The court officer directed Jerry to the witness stand, and he shuffled forward, his eyes downcast. He took the oath, his voice trembling slightly. "Mr. Thompson," the judge said, his voice booming through the courtroom, "can you please state your name and address for the record?" Jerry cleared his throat. "Jerry Thompson, 14 Maple Street, Atlanta." "And Mr. Thompson, can you tell the court why you are here today?" Jerry looked up, his eyes meeting mine for just a brief second, and in that moment I saw something in his eyes. Something that sent a shiver down my spine. He took a deep breath, and then, in a clear, steady voice, he said, "I'm here to testify about some emails I saw." Emails? Whose emails? What emails? Why is Jerry being called as a witness?
Good Lord, I muttered under my breath, barely audible. Emails? What in the ever-loving hell was Jerry gonna say about emails? My heart hammered against my ribs like a hummingbird trapped in a cage. The judge, bless his heart, seemed just as bewildered as I was. "Emails, Mr. Thompson. Can you be more specific?" Jerry shifted uncomfortably in the witness chair, his gaze darting around the courtroom before finally settling on the judge. "Yes, Your Honor. I
I am a forensic accountant. A forensic accountant? Jerry? The same Jerry who used to bring me day-old bagels from the bakery on Tuesdays? The same Jerry who couldn't figure out how to program his new television? This was getting stranger by the minute. I specialize in cybercrime, Jerry continued, his voice gaining confidence with each word. Before I retired from the FBI... Retired from the FBI? You could have knocked me over with a feather. Jerry, an FBI agent? This whole thing was spiraling into a bad episode of Matlock. A murmur rippled through the courtroom. Even Brittany, who had been sitting with that smug little smirk plastered on her face, seemed taken aback. Her eyes widened, and for the first time I saw a flicker of something other than pure, unadulterated greed in them. The judge leaned forward, his eyebrows raised. "Please proceed, Mr. Thompson." Jerry took a deep breath. About 6 weeks ago, I received a confidential request. A confidential request to analyze some blockchain data. Blockchain data? What in the world? My mind struggled to keep up. This was way beyond my expertise. I could balance a checkbook faster than anyone this side of the Mississippi, but blockchain? Cryptocurrency? That was all Greek to me. Specifically, Jerry said, his voice now ringing with authority, I was asked to trace the flow of cryptocurrency connected to an offshore trust. Offshore trust? The same offshore trust that Brittany had been trying to blackmail me with? The one she claimed was rightfully hers? I understand that the offshore trust in question is the subject of this hearing, Jerry continued, glancing towards the judge, and I can confirm with absolute certainty that the funds used to initially populate that trust were illegally obtained. Illegally obtained? What was he implying? Your Honor, Jerry said, turning his gaze directly to the judge, my analysis revealed that the cryptocurrency used to fund the trust originated from a ransomware attack. Ransomware? Good heavens! The air in the courtroom seemed to thicken. I could feel the collective shock and disbelief of everyone present. Even the court reporters stopped typing for a moment. The attack, Jerry explained, targeted a major hospital system in Europe, crippling their operations and demanding a significant ransom in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin was then laundered through a series of complex transactions and ultimately used to establish the offshore trust. I stared at Brittany, who was now pale as a ghost. The smugness was gone, replaced with a look of pure, unadulterated terror. Her mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. The using sophisticated tracing techniques, Jerry continued, his voice now ringing with authority, I was able to identify the source of the ransomware attack, and I can definitively state that the attack was orchestrated by Brittany Hayes. The courtroom erupted. People were shouting, whispering, pointing. The bailiff struggled to maintain order. I couldn't hear anything over the roaring in my ears. All I could see was Brittany, her face contorted with rage and fear. The judge banged his gavel repeatedly, finally managing to restore some semblance of order. Miss Hayes, he said, his voice booming through the courtroom, do you have anything to say in your defense? Brittany stood up, her hands trembling. This is a lie, she shrieked. He's lying. I didn't do anything. Mr. Thompson, the judge said, turning back to Jerry, do you have any evidence to support your claim? Jerry nodded. Yes, Your Honor. I have a complete audit trail of the cryptocurrency transactions, including the IP addresses of the computers used in the ransomware attack and the email addresses used to communicate with the victims. I also have, other documentation. He pulled out a thick folder, the Phantom Factor Report. The judge peered down at Brittany. Miss Hayes,
I am ordering you to be taken into custody pending further investigation." 2 burly bailiffs approached Brittany and placed her under arrest. She struggled, kicking and screaming, but it was no use. As they led her out of the courtroom, she turned and glared at me, her eyes filled with venom. "This isn't over, you old hag. I'll get you for this." As she was dragged away, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of satisfaction. The sheer gall of that woman, honey, demanding I sell my jewelry, blackmailing me with secrets, stealing money from sick people, it was beyond belief. But the question remains, will she face justice?
Lord have mercy, the gall of that girl. I sat here on my porch swing, the Georgia sun warm on my face, sipping my Earl Grey. Twinings, of course, none of that cheap stuff. And for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. The azaleas were in full bloom, that sweet, clawing scent filling the air. Even the damn Phantom Factor, that skip tracing group Jerry hired, had finally stopped calling, probably satisfied Brittany was going away for a good long while. But it was a bittersweet victory, honey. The house was quiet, too quiet. I missed George terribly, especially now. He would have known exactly what to say, how to make me laugh amidst all this mess. He always had a way of seeing the humor in even the darkest situations. He would have hated that girl. I took another sip of my tea, trying to push down the knot of anxiety that still lingered in my stomach. Brittany might be behind bars, but the feeling that something wasn't quite right persisted. It was like a low hum, a vibration that wouldn't go away. The local news was on the porch radio, softly playing in the background. Usually it was just traffic reports and fluff pieces about the Atlanta Braves. But today, the anchor's voice was unusually serious. And we're receiving reports of several other elderly residents in the Atlanta area who have been targeted by similar scams. Authorities are urging seniors to be vigilant and to report any suspicious activity to the police immediately. My hand tightened around my teacup. Other elderly residents? Similar scams? The anchor continued. Police are investigating whether these incidents are connected and, if so, are searching for additional suspects. A picture flashed on the screen, a grainy image of a woman walking away from an ATM, her face obscured by a baseball cap. The caption read, "Person of interest in elder fraud investigation." My heart started to pound. Could it be? Was Brittany just the tip of the iceberg? A pawn in some larger, more sinister game? I switched off the radio, the silence that followed even more deafening than before. I thought about Mrs. Abernathy down the street, a sweet, trusting woman who always baked me cookies for Christmas. I remembered her mentioning something about a financial advisor who had offered to help her manage her investments. Had she been targeted too? And then there was Mr. Henderson, the retired school teacher across the way. He'd always been so proud of his independence, his ability to manage his own affairs. But lately, I'd noticed him looking increasingly confused and withdrawn. Had someone been taking advantage of him? Damn it all to hell. This couldn't be happening. Not here, not in my neighborhood, not to my friends. I grabbed my iPhone, George would have hated this blasted thing, and scrolled through my contacts. I needed to call Jerry, see what he knew. Maybe that Phantom Factor group had uncovered something else, something they hadn't told me. My finger hovered over Jerry's name, but I hesitated. What if this went deeper than even he suspected? What if this was a whole network of these vultures, preying on the vulnerable? I thought about my own situation. I've been lucky. I had my wits about me and I had Jerry to help me. But what about those who weren't so fortunate? What about those who were too trusting, too afraid, or simply too isolated to fight back? I closed my eyes,
a wave of anger washing over me. This wasn't just about Brittany Hayes anymore. This was about protecting our community, our elders, from these ruthless criminals. I opened my eyes, my resolve hardening. I wouldn't stand for it. I wouldn't let these predators terrorize our town. I might be 72, a widow, and suffering from a touch of arthritis in my knees, but I wasn't about to back down. Not now, not ever. I dialed Jerry's number, my voice trembling slightly as he answered. "Helen, it's Jerry. We have a problem, a bigger problem than we thought." I told him about the news report, about my suspicions regarding Mrs. Abernathy and Mr. Henderson. I told him about the knot of unease that had been gnawing at me since Brittany's arrest. "Calm down, Helen," Jerry said, his voice soothing. "We'll look into it. I'll have the Phantom Factor team run a search, see if they can find any connections." "Do it, Jerry," I said, my voice firm, "and do it fast, because if these people are targeting our seniors, we need to stop them. We need to protect them." I hung up the phone, feeling a surge of determination. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. I looked out at my peaceful Atlanta neighborhood, the sun casting long shadows across the lawns. It looked so idyllic, so safe. But beneath the surface, I knew something sinister was lurking, and I was determined to find out what it was. What other dangers lurk in Atlanta?